Welcome to the Freedom Founder Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Duggar. Now, it's said that every new beginning starts from some other beginning's end. And my guest today, Jeanette, has some stories of new beginnings in her life and new beginnings in her business experience. So, Jeanette, thank you for joining me today.
Hey, it's great to join you, Zach. We finally get to meet on screen.
Absolutely. I love it. And, I
Yeah.
always think that it's best to start at the beginning, but sometimes I do start at the end. This time, I'd love to just find out a little bit on how you got started in business and kind of what was going on in your life that kind of brought to that decision to get involved in the work you were doing.
So I think every one of us has something deep seated in us that we're born with innately that has to be uncovered. And one of my sparks was independence and self sufficiency. I just
Yep.
grew up with six kids. I was the eldest daughter with a brother who was a year older, but born with mental challenges. So my parents, as young parents, I became the little mom with my other four siblings that came right after. And I always knew that being organized was part of my jam. So
Hmm.
my dad became an entrepreneur. He started his own insurance company. And I was able to see over the years that our lifestyle changed as his business got bigger and more recurring income flowed. So at age 9, I became a fan of gymnastics, which I competed through college. So I spent a lot of time in the gym, but I always had the blessing of both parents being at my meets, which was another, signal to me that dad's onto something with his insurance business. So we talked. I mean, I knew by the age of 9 I was going to be an entrepreneur, independent, and I needed some kind of residual or recurring income.
Hmm.
So fast forward to 1990, I get a call from a girlfriend who told me about the skincare line she was so excited about. I had a 2-year-old at home at the time, and my husband at the time just retired from the NFL. So we were back on the West Coast. I was bored, said, sure, come on over, give me a facial. One thing led to another. And my fitness clients, I was teaching fitness as well. My fitness clients started noticing differences, not only in my skin, but my energy. So one thing led to another. 7 years later, I had built by accident, I call myself an accidental entrepreneur that stumbled into, thank goodness, the industry of residual recurring income. So 7 years into it, I got a surprise announcement from my husband of 16 years that he wanted out of the marriage. So packing up my 9 and 2-year-old, we bought a new house, and thank God, but for recurring income, I would have been like many single moms, going to work full time and praying that your kids grew up with some sort of sanity. I was able to be home with my two kids. So that is my heart. My heart, 20 years of recurring income, got my kids out of college and bored again. My
Hmm.
girlfriend called me 6 years ago, and she had called me for 5 years prior. We worked together in my first company. We got to the highest levels together, etc. She said, Jeanette, with your fitness background, all of your clean eating that you do to, keep your weight and your shape, you need to try these products. So again, tried products, amazing results for me. Any athlete knows that you don't leave a sport without owies, injuries, inflammation. And it was amazing what these products had done for my inflammation. And so I said, during COVID, I was watching neighbors of, kids in our neighborhood, moms who now were telecommuting from home. Everybody was locked down,
Yep.
and they were just disgusted with what they were seeing their kids learn through Zoom schools. And they were shocked. And I'm like, wake up. It's been going on for years.
Hmm.
But it really gave me the impetus, Zach, to get my butt out of retirement and build a platform so that I had something tangible to offer women who wanted to be home, to
Mhm.
add either supplement or replacement income with the possibility of recurring income that they can will to their kids. So that's what I did. I spent several years with tech coaches and platform coaches, and I took all my knowledge from 34 years and pulled it together and created my academy called Pivot, which is a learning academy to help women launch virtual businesses. So
That's
that's what I do.
marvelous. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, just going back, you had that example in your life of your father who had
Mhm.
started an insurance business, saw that
Yep.
outcome of
Mhm.
income growth and income that would become residual income over time,
Mhm.
allowing him that flexibility, that freedom to be
Time.
able to
Yes.
be at
Yes.
your meets and to have time with family and to allow some additional opportunities in your lives growing up. Sounds like that was an early source of inspiration that people
Huge.
don't always get, right?
Exactly. You're absolutely right. Yep, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
And then as you got into your own business, in your 20s, it sounds like that you were able to create something, in a sense, almost on an accidental manner, but that
Yes,
heart behind it was already there, and so getting
yes,
into it and growing with a product that you could believe in and stand
yeah,
on and create. So I'm gonna say that sometimes when people hear of this type of business,
mhm,
it sounds a little bit like it has some components where you are working with others who are then also joining and coming alongside you to additionally grow their business, if that is
mhm.
correct, right?
It's a
For,
collaboration, like
yeah.
competitive sports. As a gymnast, I
Mhm.
competed elite and collegiate, high school elite
Yeah.
and collegiate. I competed. I wanted to beat that other
Mhm.
gymnast. I was out to get that medal. But
Yeah.
in this business, it is the creation of the compensation is
Mhm.
such that I don't win unless I help others win.
Right.
So it is really a team effort. And, you've got to look at how you're paid in any
Mhm.
company, your salaried company, your 9 to 5 or hourly wage, whatever you work for. You need to understand how the money is made.
Yep.
And that is such a crucial part. And I became a master of that after 2 years with my first business, because I was getting checks in the mailbox back then. See, Zach, that ages me, right?
Mhm.
No direct deposit, no internet back then, no
Yeah.
cell phones back then.
Right.
So uh, I went to the corporate big outreach convention, and I sat in the workshops that dealt with the money because I
Mhm.
wanted to learn money matters, the strategy behind how to earn the income that was possible. So
Yeah.
I studied a lot of different compensation plans, and you've really got to know how you make money.
Mhm. Yeah, tell us a little bit more on how that type of a business like this works with regards to creating residual income where you are not having to spend as much time as you progress in the business.
Mhm. So the bottom line is, if you can put together like-minded people
Mhm.
who buy from the same store, let's say, same web portal, with
Mhm.
the same type of product categories that you're interested in, and you can't get them anywhere else. Then you set up, you're on a team, you get introduced from somebody. The company never sponsors somebody. So you're
Mhm.
always introduced through a person, a human being. And with that person, there's always people that came in before them. And in my business, it is a matter of a team build. That's how recurring income happens. So if I introduced you, I don't know people that you know, Zach, but I know how to do this business. So I can help you get proficient and introduce your, 10 people that you want to introduce the business to, 10 people the product to, whatever. And for that, you'll get benefit, I'll get benefit, and then helping those people that you bring in. So it's an exponential growth pattern in numbers. And I always say, I ask people this question. Do you know, if you had a choice, would you take $1 million or a penny doubled every day for 30 days? Now, most people, what would you think they would answer?
Most will say $1 million.
That's right. But when you double a penny, you can go Google this or DuckDuckGo this. When you double a penny for 30 days, it's over $5 million by day 30, because the exponential growth of 10 by 10 by 10, you've got 1,000 people, not just 30 people. So it grows exponentially, which is how the income grows for recurring income. The other part of it is when you get results with a product that makes a difference in your life and you can't live without it, you're going to be reordering month after month. And many companies incentivize, like Amazon incentivizes Prime with free shipping, right? You pay a fee. In this company, you get discounts on recurring orders. So you get 25% discounted products and free shipping or low shipping. So there's always incentives for recurring orders. And this company happens to have a 92% reorder rate. So 22 years in the industry, they've pretty much proven the products work. So
Yeah. And that makes a big difference in the type of a business
huge,
model, an actual
huge.
product that has a
Yes,
benefit to
huge.
individuals, to others, so that you can see the need for it over time that is of value, rather than some companies that may tout their product and maybe that strategy and model that really isn't as much of a benefit.
I always tell people, when you are looking at an industry that is a team build or a recurring compensation, most people work 9 to 5 or hourly rates. So they're working for not recurring income, but they're working for a paycheck. And if you work for a paycheck, there's no way you'll ever get ahead, because with inflation now, people are needing an extra $700 a month just to survive on what they did 3 years ago, when the economy wasn't in this inflationary situation. So you're either working linear income, which is, think of a box, a quadrant. Linear income is on the left side of the box. You're either working for a company, for somebody else, or you're self-employed. And most people that are self-employed know they don't work 8 hours a day. They work 15 hours a day, right? Because it's just you. On the other side of that cash flow quadrant, this is termed by Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Business for the 21st Century, which are 2 fantastic books for your audience if they've not read it and they're interested in entrepreneurship. On the right side of the quadrant is where leverage happens. And leverage happens with either a big business that franchises out or opens, say, brick and mortar store A in different cities in the state, different states in the country, different countries. That owner gets override residuals on every single restaurant open, right? Or you can be one that invests in houses, like realtors. They can invest in homes, rent it out. That's recurring income. But most people don't have the cash up front to participate in that leveraged income, and or investments, stock market investments, Bitcoin, whatever. That you can also add recurring income. But again, what stops people? They don't have the cash to invest. So this is the great equalizer. This industry is the great equalizer for people: low cash investment and big outcomes for those people that work it.
Yep.
It's an 80-20 rule like anything else, and I know you know this, Zach, being an entrepreneur and working alongside other people, you know that 20% are going to be focused.
Hmm.
80% are going to be consumers. They love the product. They're just going to, use what feels good for them. They might make, some side cash to pay for their fix, pay for their
Hmm.
product. And that's very possible. And some just may want to supplement that $700 deficit and
Hmm.
do it very part-time. So there's
Yeah.
different avenues, but that's how recurring income happens is you have to have the right vehicle or you have to have a lot of cash and
Yep.
expertise usually
Yep.
in an area. So
Absolutely.
that's why I love this industry. It's because I work with doctors, I work with lawyers, I work with
Hmm.
burned out professional CEOs, C-suite executives who are
Yep.
sick and tired of the overhead, the ballooning overhead, babysitting employees like franchise owners. They say franchise owners for Subway, for instance, I feel like I babysit teenagers all day. That's what I do. So there's all different kinds of folks. And like me, little old mom at home with two kids, stumbled
Yep.
into this and decided I wanted to learn the business. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where your focus is now from our conversation previously, is that just helping those single mothers, those women that want to learn this type of a business to create that flexibility and freedom or that additional income or that longer term residual income for themselves and their families. So let's talk a little bit more about that and your platform and how you are working with individuals now.
okay, thank you. So I decided to launch a business. I call it Pivot
Hmm.
because as a gymnast, we pivoted a lot. Floor,
Yes.
beam, pivoting into new routines, whatever. So Pivot is the platform and it's an academy. It's an online virtual where it's self-directed learning with Zoom, group links
Hmm.
and group connections through WhatsApp. And I guide them through three different areas of business ownership. The
Nice.
first one is wellness. I find women, especially who have been in the corporate, arena, are burned out, overstressed, and usually carry too much weight because
Yep.
that stress hormone, cortisol, never gets released, never gets relaxed. So there are ways with good nutrition, clean nutrition, good products that you can incorporate adaptogens. You can incorporate, low fat, dense nutrition. You can
Hmm.
incorporate protein pacing. So I go through the mental paradigms. Where are you from? What kind of environment did you grow up in? And what are you doing today that's different than that environment? And most people run on automatic pilot, as you
Yep.
probably know. That's we bring our, I call it, it's like a weight around your ankle, and you're dragging this weight into the future, trying to recreate your new adulthood, but you cannot do that unless you recognize paradigms that are holding you back.
Right.
Money paradigms, work paradigms. My family was all blue collar. I'll never do anything but blue collar. That's a paradigm. But
Yep.
these can be broken. You just have to know how to access the tools. So I go through paradigms, goal setting, mindset, go through health, wellness, nutrition, get them on the program that works best for their body. They just replace expenses from the grocery store where they're buying a lot of fake food in boxes or
Hmm.
cans with very little nutritional value to the body, and which is really what's making the American lifestyle sicker and sicker. Sugar has invaded our foods, and that acidic environment just does not work well to stay
Hmm.
healthy. So all that they get educated on, they get the product performing in their body, they see a difference and feel a difference. Somebody
Yep.
said to me in my last training, day 3, I woke up and I felt like I swallowed a rainbow. And I'm like, Okay, that's interesting. But what she was saying is her brain fog was
Hmm.
released. She woke up without the alarm clock. So things like this happen when your body is working the way God intended it to work,
Mm.
without all the
Yes.
crap that we breathe in, we put on our bodies, we drink, we eat, so
Yep.
much toxicity. So that's number one. Second part is business. So all things virtual business, teaching them how to work through the website. It's a $20
Hmm.
million web portal. So it's got full abilities to track orders, find who's on your team, countries that
Hmm.
you're being paid in. It's got everything social media, so you'll learn how to do profiling and posts and things like that. Videos from scientists that are extraordinary because it's science-backed products with 20 you know, published, which
Hmm.
are not paid for from the standpoint of, oh, good, this study turned out well, let's publish it. No, we always pay for the, company to investigate
Hmm.
certain products, give their own reporting on it, and then peer reviewed, published, regardless of the outcome.
Yep.
So far, 20 published um, medical journals, huge literary content. So that's something to be proud of. And I love women, especially, to learn about what they're talking about. You don't
Yeah.
have to be the scientist, but you have to know where to access the tools.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
so the wellness platform, business platform, and then, of course, everything you can do, tax write offs, everything from your
Hmm.
home office. We go through that. And then third is income. Show me the money. So I teach them linear leveraged income. I teach them the comp plan from the bottom up. And as they learn, they're making money. So I've got a 4-week boot camp. I've got a 12-week group coaching platform that they can plug into. I offer them various times per year. And all this information can be found on my website
Hmm.
along with free resources. So they can actually go into my free resources and download some homework if they want to
Yep.
look into paradigms or, what's holding them back or linear versus leveraged income. So there's content there for them to be able to access.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
that's amazing and incredible that you put together this information in just a digestible format and also
Yes.
accessible format that is
Yep.
easily accessed anywhere in the world, really, and can work
Yes.
with anyone's schedule to be able to get that information and to kind of figure out how they could be able to experience a residual income business for themselves and their
In the
families over
pockets of
time.
their day. Everybody's
Yeah.
busy. But if you
Yep.
can carve out 30 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here
Yep.
in the busyness of your day to create a platform that will continue to build on itself
Mhm.
based on, you know, people that you introduce, who we introduce.
Yep.
Um, it's a beautiful thing. You can wake up 5 years later and go, wow, what just happened? Not only do these women grow personally, because it is a personal growth journey as anything else. I've invested thousands of hours in my
Mhm.
own personal discovery with
Yeah.
all things business, all things paradigms, but they will get access to a lot of free content to help them in that
Mhm.
journey, which is
Yeah.
beautiful. So,
Now, since you have started this, do you have any success stories, anything that you can share with us about the someone else's journey?
yeah, absolutely. So, let's do money first.
Yeah.
There's kids. I call them kids. I'm 63, so
Okay.
I'm a grandmother to a lot of these. But there are kids in this business that, um, say, one woman, Zach.
Mhm.
Her name is. You know what? I shouldn't mention names because I haven't asked permission. But
Yeah.
um, came in the first week. The first week introduced two people. She made $200. She's like, "How did
Mhm.
that happen?" It's like, well, the company pays you, product introductory bonus. So there's 60, there's 60, you have two, there's
Hmm.
another 100. So she was shocked because it came in the next week. The next week, we said, let's help these two find, two people who would value these products or looking for a
Hmm.
business. She was within 4 weeks, made $1,200. She's like, how did this happen? So that's how it happens with the upfront money.
Hmm.
People can be earning hundreds a week, thousands, and then tens of thousands. Within the first 6 months, I can teach people how to make up to, $15,000 just based on upfront money, which is a
Yep.
beautiful thing.
Yeah.
With the product, why this works is because by day 3 or 4, the majority of people will have an appearance of health. They're
Hmm.
feeling different. Their bodies are completely changed chemistry wise. And when they go on the intermittent fasting or the protein pacing, which is 11 days, which I take them through my long group program,
Hmm.
they shed pounds, they drop
Yeah.
inches, they shed pounds, and people will ask. So for that, when people ask, of course, if you don't know what to say, you've got somebody who does,
Yep.
or we have a streamline, send this video, send this link, get them on a
Hmm.
call with me or my partners. So it's very hand holding.
Yeah, yeah, no, it sounds like you provide a lot of the resources, the structure, the organization to allow that person to optimize their success. So,
Absolutely.
love it.
That's the big difference. There's nobody else in my industry doing this type of training
Hmm.
for a specific
Yeah,
entity, for a specific company. So,
yeah.
a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into creating the platform, but I
Hmm.
was I was totally enrolled in it and passionate
Yeah,
about it because I know
absolutely.
the outcome it can create for
Yes, yeah,
women who are hungry.
absolutely. Personal experience speaks volumes. Now, want to ask
It,
a question in regards to it's a question I ask all of my guests. If you were to be given $1 million today, no strings attached to that, how would you invest that in your business or another endeavor, and why?
so I might invest in my business.
Mhm.
I've got several virtual assistants,
Yep.
but perhaps an agency uh, to do all
Mhm.
things technical, which I suck
Yeah.
at. That's instead of one doing this, one
Yep.
doing this. However, I really I have a heart for nonprofits,
Yeah.
and one of them that we have been building for 7 years is in Dominican Republic,
Mhm.
where we've helped 300 people, single moms with kids for the most part, who lived in a barrio that was flooding every day
Yeah.
with sewage water. We've built 45 homes. We've built
Wow.
a medical clinic. We've put a clean water system through my company,
Mhm.
huge clean water system. And now we're doing scholarships for the kids to be able to go to school, upper
Mhm.
level, and college. So I would definitely put money into that for the scholarships because we've run out of land. We can't build any more homes,
Mhm.
but it's
Right.
a total template for
Yeah.
duplicating in other
Yeah, no,
communities.
that's
So
amazing.
that's one of my total passions.
Yeah. Love that
Yeah,
answer. Thank you. Yeah, so
yeah,
if anyone wants to find out more about you, your business, maybe even about the nonprofit work, what's the best way for
yeah.
someone to connect with you or to find out more?
Well, the nonprofit is providingopportunity.org. So they
Okay.
can go and check out. I put a video together of our,
Hmm.
I took my daughter down. I've taken my dad. It's kind of a family thing now. So it's
Yeah.
very fun.
Awesome.
But it's my name, JeanetteLowry.com.
Okay.
And they can either book a call with me. There's a tab right on top, book a call,
Hmm.
and we'll go through a gap assessment. I offer it for free. It's normally 100, but for
Yeah.
anybody that says they came from a podcast or what have you, I'll do a gap assessment on them and find out where they're at from the standpoint of
Yeah.
business background, etc., to see how I can help them fill those gaps.
Right.
And then there's free resources, like I said, or they can do a master class. There's 2 master classes. One is product based and one is business based. So a lot of free resources.
Perfect. Love
Yep.
it. Well, Jeanette, I
JeanetteLowry.com.
really appreciate having you on the show today. We'll make sure that that link is added to the show notes so that our guests
Perfect.
can find that without any
Okay.
problem. Love to hear about your journey. So I appreciate what you're doing, what you did, and what you're continuing to do today. So thank you again for being on
We'll
the show.
definitely stay in touch. We'll definitely be in touch for sure.
Absolutely.